Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is June 9th of 2025. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage an assassination event targeting U.S. President Donald J. Trump on the date of June 10th of 2025. So what I've identified is a three-pronged plan to basically decapitate the United States by neutralizing a sitting U.S. president on this particular date, which coincidentally features the 1-6 or 6-1 numerology found in the logo of the CIA, which is a 16-point star. So the first level of this particular plot is to basically create a false, basically an arrest of Donald J. Trump for crimes he did not commit, to frame him. The most likely scenarios at this point, because I have published hundreds of different scenarios that they've developed over the years for his arrest, which he'll never see the inside of a courtroom, because he'll be likely killed or suicided during the arrest or shortly thereafter, is a violation of the 10th Amendment in respect to sending troops to California to quell the anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles, in Oakland. Threats to arrest Gavin Newsom, such as abuse of power, extortion, or treason, basically violating his oath of office. But the most likely arrest scenario for the date of June 10th of 2025 is to basically arrest him for stealing, fraud, theft of the 2024 U.S. presidential election back on November 5th of 2025. So the scenario that is the most likely is that they arrest Donald J. Trump, Elon Musk, and or members of the Doge team for allegedly developing an artificial intelligence AI-based algorithm which electronically was able to sense targeting early voting calculations. This is the most likely scenario. If they are unable to arrest Donald J. Trump for crimes he did not commit on the date of June 10th, 2025, they will resort to Plan B, which is assassination. So exactly how this will transpire is obviously not known, but on the morning of June 10th of 2025, Donald J. Trump is traveling from the White House to Joint Base Andrews in Frederick County, Maryland, most likely via Marine One. He will then board Air Force One and fly to Fayetteville Regional Airport in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he will visit Fort Bragg on the date of June 10th. So there's a possibility that he could be assassinated or ambushed while in Cadillac 1, which is unlikely, but the most likely scenario or a possible scenario is that he is targeted while in Marine 1. Then once aboard Air Force One, he will be traveling along the eastern seaboard, where I have published numerous scenarios, or virtually every scenario covered, but the most likely scenario is that he is shot down by an alleged Chinese missile from a Chinese submarine in the Atlantic Ocean. And this would likely be executed via a German-made Dolphin submarine of the Israeli Navy. So this is going to be a courtesy of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Mossad, the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli Navy. This is going to be a CIA assassination via their henchmen, their assassins, otherwise known as the State of Israel. The notion that a Israeli attack on the U.S. was evident back in 1967 when the Israeli Air Force attacked USS Liberty. So they're going to take out Air Force One via missile and then blame it on China to start World War III. Once landing at Fayetteville, North Carolina, he's going to be visiting Fort Bragg. Coincidentally, yesterday there was just a massive explosion at Kadena Air Force Base in Kadena, Okinawa, Japan. So they may stage some sort of an explosion on base, or some sort of terror attack. If you'll recall, there's been a number of Islamic mass shooting attacks targeting U.S. military bases. These are basically, in my opinion, foreign operatives that are working with the U.S. government to stage attacks in the United States. So basically, special forces that go rogue, and then they basically have to kill them, and so they blame a false flag attack on them. So there's the possibility that they would assassinate him under the guise of an Islamic jihadist attack, a former trans soldier, because Trump fired a bunch of transsexual soldiers. He's also instituted a no-fly list. I think it's 12 or 13 countries. So a soldier from those countries, or his parents are from those countries, or a DEI fire. They've created a number of different scenarios. So some sort of an assassination event targeting the president while he is at Fort Bragg is expected. If Donald J. Trump makes it from Washington, D.C. to Fort Bragg and back to Washington, D.C. unscathed, they will likely suicide him once he's back in Washington, D.C. On the date of June 10th or the date of June 11th. Possibly under the guise of shame for allowing the LA riots to get out of control, for the lack of being able to bring down the interest rates, for a new poll that they'll release, which said that his poll numbers are falling, for his inability to get a ceasefire in the Iran or in the Israeli-Hamas war, his inability to get a ceasefire in the Russo-Ukrainian war, but the most likely scenario is that he is not able to get a trade agreement between the United States and China. Currently, U.S. trade representatives just landed in London this evening on June 9th of 2025, where they will be meeting at I believe it's called the Chatham House, or the Lancaster House, excuse me, in London, England. And so Trump will receive news of this agreement or lack of agreement, and then they'll claim that he suicided himself, killed himself under the guise of shame or something to that effect. So just to recap, Donald J. Trump is going to be terminated in some form or fashion by the CIA, courtesy of the CIA in Switzerland, on the date of June 10th of 2025 or the date of June 11th, 2025. And they will go with a three-tiered process. First, an arrest and subsequent assassination, a direct assassination plot, and then if they fail to do that, they will resort to suicide. So obviously, if that happens, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international outlets. Lastly, in the aftermath of this report, the CIA may stage some sort of an accident to neutralize the president in some form or fashion. This could be in Washington, D.C. at the White House, at Joint Andrews Base, in Frederick County, Maryland. It could be while en route to or from Fort Bragg in North Carolina, or it could be at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, but some sort of an accident. They just staged an event where Donald J. Trump was walking up the steps of Air Force One and he tripped and fell. So some sort of slip and fall may be in order, which results in a medical related emergency, which is likely going to be plan D in this scenario, is that Donald J. Trump suffers a timely medical emergency, most likely courtesy of a direct energy related weapon attack, which results in a brain aneurysm, a stroke, heart attack, or some sort of limb collapse, whereby he is taken to emergency surgery, where he will be tortured ad nauseum and then later die under the guise of surgery complications, allergic reaction, or medical malpractice. So obviously, if that happens, I kindly ask that you share this video as previously mentioned. Obviously, praying for a peaceful day on June 10th and June 11th for one Donald J. Trump. Peace.